रात में पढ़ने का बताया तो था। फ़ायदा एक है कि आपको डिस्टरबेंस कम होगा, बहुत सारी चीज़ें कम दिक्कत करती है रात में। जैसे कि पहले तो घर वाले सब सो गए हैं, कोई डिस्टर्ब नहीं। दूसरी बात, अभी भूख भी नहीं लगी है, अच्छा खासा खा पी के बैठे हैं। तीसरी कि कुछ नहीं है, नींद भी नहीं आ रही है, तो पढ़ाई कर लेते हैं। पढ़ना ज़रूरी है वैसे, ताकि ट्राई करो साथ में पढ़े। मन नहीं लगता है, ग्रुप स्टडी, यहाँ लाइव स्टडी चलेगी। वैसे पढ़ने का मोटिवेशन तो नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी किसी बहाने बस पढ़ते रहो पढ़ते रहो पढ़ते रहो, यही ज़िंदगी है। और पढ़ना चाहिए। बहुत लेट से समझ में आया, मन नहीं लगता है, थोड़ा सा अननेचुरल चीज़ें हैं। जैसे पढ़ाई करते समय आपको नींद आएगी, दुनिया में सारी चीज़ें आपको पढ़ते समय ही याद आएगी। सारे इनोवेशन, सारी चीज़ें सब पढ़ते समय याद आता है। और सारे दुख दर्द पुरानी यादें सब बाहर आ जाती है। इसलिए कोई नहीं, इन सब चीज़ों को पार करते हुए भी पढ़ाई तो करना है। और हम एक टारगेट है कि नीट पीजी के लिए पढ़ना है। थोड़ा सा दूर है, लेकिन चलो पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा। तो हम लोग का एक सब्जेक्ट है बायोकेमिस्ट्री, है इजी, इम्पोर्टेंट है। क्वेश्चंस इजी आते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी नहीं होते हैं, क्योंकि है बहुत सारी दिक्कत इसमें। और जो लोग एफएमजी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं उनके लिए भी काफ़ी फ़ायदेमंद है। तो मैं कहूँगा कि अगर आपको करना है तो रैपिड डिवीज़न कर लो, एक सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से सारी चीज़ें लगभग लगभग कवर हो जाती हैं। देखते हैं क्या होता है। So we try to start with 4 formulas। स्माइली पृथ्वी के 4 फार्मूला वाले फार्मूले से पढ़ाई स्टार्ट किया जाए। एक बेसिक तरीका है जिसे याद करने में आसानी रहती है, ठीक है। और है, अच्छा है। फोर फार्मूलाज, उन्होंने अपने नाम पे नाम रखा है स्माइली फार्मूला 1। इसमें पता करना है विच पाथवे इज एनाबोलिक एंड विच पाथवे इज कैटाबोलिक। एनाबोलिक pathway is if there is 3 states, fed state, fasting stage and starvation stage of body. Fed, you have eaten something in between 4 hours, and fasting stage, more than 4 hours you haven't eaten anything, and starvation, more than 24 hours you haven't eaten anything. So there are 3 steps of fasting, the like fed, fasting and starvation. So how we can distinguish between anabolic and catabolic pathways? There is a simple formula which we can apply, like if the body is in fed state, then we can say that it is anabolic pathway, like HMP pathway, pentose phosphate pathway, glycogenesis, fat synthesis, triglyceride synthesis, cholesterol synthesis, lipoprotein lipase enzyme pathway. Anabolic means like construction, And there is catabolic pathway. Breaking down of anything is called catabolic, like glycolysis. There is breakdown of glucose. So there is glucose and lysis, it is breakdown. It's a link reaction. भाई लोग रिप्लाई करना मुश्किल है क्योंकि पढ़ाई पे फोकस करना है, तो रिप्लाई कैसे किया जाए? So we are studying about catabolic pathways. There is glycogenolysis. Glycogen, there is breakdown of glycogen stored in the liver and the muscles. And there is beta oxidation of fatty acids. This is also catabolic pathway. And gluconeogenesis, ketone body synthesis, utilizations, hormone sensitive lipase enzymes. This is catabolic pathway. And then there is Smiley formula 2, like insulin and glucagon activates which pathway or enzymes. Then there is simple 2-3 points which we have to remember, like insulin activates all anabolic pathway enzymes, and insulin also activates two catabolic pathway enzymes, that is glycolysis and link reactions. Glucagon activates all catabolic pathway enzymes, but glucagon does not activate two catabolic pathway enzymes, glycolysis and link reactions, as these are activated by insulin. So the formula is simple. Insulin activates anabolic pathway and glucagon activates catabolic pathway with few exceptions. And for exceptions are glycolysis and link reactions for insulin, which is activated by insulin, but they are catabolic pathways. And glucagon exceptions are glycolysis and link reactions, which are catabolic pathway but activated by insulin, which is anabolic hormone. And then there is a Smiley formula 3, which hormone causes phosphorylation and which causes dephosphorylations. Enzymes which are activated by insulin, anabolic enzymes, are always active in dephosphorylated state. Enzymes which are activated by insulin, anabolic enzymes, are always active in dephosphorylated state. Activated by insulin, always active in D for enzymes which are activated by insulin, anabolic enzymes, are always active in dephosphorylated state. Like anabolic enzymes, always active in dephosphorylated state, and enzymes which are activated by glucagon, catabolic enzymes, are always active in phosphorylated state. There is one exception. ATP citrate lyase is anabolic enzymes, but it is active in phosphorylated state. ATP citrate lyase is anabolic enzymes, but it is active in phosphorylated state. Okay, and then there is a Smiley formula 4, which pathway occurs in which compartment of the cells. Okay, all anabolic pathways occur in cytoplasm and all catabolic pathways occur in mitochondria. Anabolic pathway in cytoplasm and catabolic pathway in mitochondria, but two catabolic pathways also occur in cytoplasm, that is glycolysis and glycogenolysis. Okay, two catabolic pathways also occur in cytoplasm, that is glycolysis and glycolysis, pathway which occur in both mitochondria and cytoplasm, like gluconeogenesis, urea cycle, heme synthesis. These three are pathways which occur in both mitochondria and cytoplasm. and gluconeogenesis, urea cycle, and hemostasis. TCA, ETC, vital pathways occur in mitochondria. Okay, and then there is four formulas, and there is a system how to use formulas. Like there is a question: which of the following does not occur in mitochondria? Uh, Mitochondria, like we have to connect which kind of pathways occur in mitochondria. Mitochondria, catabolic pathways occur in mitochondria. So the question is, which of the following does not occur in mitochondria? And the first one is beta oxidation, second fatty acid synthesis, DNA synthesis, and protein synthesis. Like we have to first recognize which is catabolic and which is anabolic. Catabolic means breakdown, so DNA synthesis and protein synthesis is anabolic. Okay, and beta oxidation and fatty acid synthesis, fatty acid synthesis. Fatty acid synthesis is anabolic pathway which will occur in synthesis, which is catabolic pathway. Catabolic means okay, breakdown. Okay, which of the following is active in dephosphorylated state? Dephosphorylated insulin is in anabolic state. Anabolic enzymes, insulin, glucagon synthesis. There is synthesis, glycogen synthesis, like synthesis, glycogen synthesis is anabolic, and yes, it can be by uh, insulin. Dephosphorylated state, and there is pyruvate carboxylase, gluconeogenesis. This is catabolic. Okay, glycogen phosphorylase breakdown, catabolic. Acetyl coenzyme A carboxylase, fatty acid synthesis, anabolic. Pyruvate dehydrogenase, link synthesis, catabolic. So we have to first identify type of process in which these enzymes are used, and then the type, that it is anabolic or catabolic. Then based on that we have to uh, apply the formula that insulin activated system uh, is active in dephosphorylated state, and vice versa. Like insulin promotes lipogenesis by all except. Insulin promotes lipogenesis by all except lipogenesis, lipid generation. Okay, by all except decreasing CMP, increasing glucose uptake, inhibiting pyruvate dehydrogenase, increasing acetyl coenzyme A. So it may be inhibiting pyruvate dehydrogenase. Okay, mitochondria are involved in all except, like ATP production. Mitochondria is necessary. Okay, apoptosis. Apoptosis means programmed cell death. Tricarboxylic acid (TCA) cycle also needs mitochondria, and cholesterol synthesis. This is also this is not cholesterol synthesis is in uh, cytoplasm. cholesterol synthesis is by Golgi apparatus. Okay, remember the fact. Hormone sensitive lipase is not activated by hormone sensitive lipase is not activated by. Okay, hormone sensitive lipase is catabolic in nature, and insulin cannot activate the hormone sensitive. Okay, which of the following is not seen in low insulin glucagon ratio? Low insulin glucagon ratio it means insulin is low and glucagon is high. Insulin is low means there is decreased uptake. Okay, so decrease at uptake is means disruption in the anabolic pathway. So glycogen storage is the anabolic pathway, so this will be the answer. Which of the following is active in dephosphorylated state? Active in dephosphorylated state: insulin and insulin related system, that is anabolic system. Anabolic system means glycogen synthesis is anabolic. Okay, all occurs in mitochondria except what do not occur in mitochondria, like ATP synthesis, TCA cycle, etc. Ketogenesis, all occur in mitochondria. Glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm. This is basic one. Okay, the biosynthesis of the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase is repressed by. The biosynthesis of the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase is repressed by. Biosynthesis of the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase. There is enzyme pyruvate carboxylase is replaced by insulin. Which of the following is active in phosphorylated state? Okay, glycogen phosphorylase B. Okay. Sources of blood glucose, blood glucose. There is presence of glucose in blood, and the sources are firstly food. Obviously, food is the major source of sugar in blood. Then there is liver glycogen, and that will be released in blood after 12 hours if the body is not fed within 12 hours or after 12 hours. Then there is secretion of liver glycogen. Then glyconeogenesis requires high energy. Like glyconeogenesis, it means the new generation of glucose from unconventional molecules. Main preferred fuel for the body. There is carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is major source of energy. So carbohydrate is easily in fed state, and fats in fasting, and proteins in starving. In starving conditions, proteins are utilized as a energy source and fuel in fed, fasting, and starvation. Okay, substrates utilized or energy production. Like there is three states: fed, fasting, and starvation. And our different body systems use different types of energy, different type of molecules for energy. Like brain, which is very sensitive to low glucose. So if you have low glucose, there is more chances of your brain damage. So maintaining blood sugar is very much necessary. That's why we often used to see that low glucose leads to fainting or dizziness, or we can say that we see lack of coordination within our body if there is low blood glucose in the blood. And in fed state there is no problem of glucose, so it is easily available. In fasting, In fasting stage also we the brain utilizes glucose, and in starvation it utilizes ketone bodies. Okay, in heart, steady state fatty acids, fasting fatty acids, and starvation ketone bodies. Liver, steady state glucose, fasting fatty acids, and starvation amino acids. Muscles, is steady state glucose utilizations, and fasting fatty acids, and starvation fatty acids and ketone bodies. Adipose tissues, glucose, fatty acids, and fatty acids. RBC requires glucose in all the three state like fat, fasting, and starvation. They always need glucose to survive because RBC don't have mechanism to utilize other forms of molecules for energy. Okay, fetal heart and heart failure, they require glucose. Okay, so we have uh, 2 3 points here to remember, like brain and heart during starvations require ketone bodies, and RBC always requires glucose, and in feed state all this system requires glucose, utilizes glucose, except heart which utilizes fatty acids. In fasting stage, um, most of the systems utilizes fatty acids except RBC and brain. So here we have learned the substrate utilized for energy production. Okay, then there is fasting state. Okay, during fasting, what happens during fasting or starvation? Like adipose tissue, there is adipose tissues in our body, and then hormone sensitive lipase comes, breakdowns into fatty acids, then that comes into blood, then it is in liver, like beta oxidation of fatty acid converted into acetyl coenzyme A, then this acetyl coenzyme A is utilized in TCA cycle, ketone body synthesis, and gluconeogenesis. Activates first step. Okay, then we have sequence of fate of acetyl coenzyme. So here we have learned that acetyl coenzyme is utilized in three different cycles like TCA cycles, uh, ketone body synthesis, and gluconeogenesis. Okay, so acetyl coenzyme A is very much needed in our body, and it comes from beta oxidation of fatty acids. Okay, yeah, and what happens in fed state? The pyruvate which comes from the breakdown of glucose when acted upon by insulin, and in the presence of PDH complex, then it converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A enters into TCA cycle and fat synthesis. Okay, then fasting and starvation, adipose tissues, hormone sensitive lipase, fatty acids, blood, liver. Okay, beta oxidation of fatty acids, acetyl coenzyme A enters into three cycles: TCA cycles, ketone body synthesis, and gluconeogenesis. First stage, and all this happens in mitochondria. Lots of acetyl coenzyme A by beta oxidations. Okay, pyruvate converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Then it when acetyl coenzyme A increases, then it gets negative feedback, and the PDH complex restricts the production of acetyl coenzyme A, and if it gives positive, then it keeps producing acetyl coenzyme A. And acetyl coenzyme is never glycogenic, not the first substance of TCA cycles, not the intermediate of TCA cycles, and not the carrier of TCA cycle. Then we come here, diabetes. Diabetes is fasting or starvation like state. Okay, diabetes is fasting or starvation like state. Uh, adipose tissues, hormone sensitive like these, fatty acids, blood, liver, beta oxidation of fatty acids, acetyl coenzyme A, ketone body synthesis, and gluconeogenesis. First step activations. Only one anabolic process is happening in diabetes. Fat formation in liver. Only one anabolic process happening in diabetes. Fat formation in liver. Due to excess acetyl coenzyme A, fat formation occurs in liver, and this fat is converted into endogenous triglyceride, and this travels in the blood in the form of VLDL. This excess acetyl coenzyme A will form cholesterol in the body. Okay, then cell organelles. There are two types of organisms, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are simple, circular, double-stranded DNA, and no organelles are present. Plasma membrane do not have receptors. Cell wall, nucleoid, DNA is not attached to histones, and transcription and translation both occur simultaneously in cytoplasm. Ribosomes are smaller, lack cytoskeleton, and eukaryotes more complex, linear, double-stranded DNA, membrane bound organelle. Plasma membrane is having receptors, and cell wall is present. Uh, cell membrane is present. Okay, no, cell membrane is present in both. Okay, cell wall is present in prokaryotes only. Okay, okay. Uh, but some eukaryotic fungi and plants have cell wall. And then there is membrane bound nucleus, DNA attached to histones. Transcription occurs in nucleus and translation occurs in cytoplasm. Large cell wall cell have large cytoskeleton. Okay, cell organelles. Cell organelle, eukaryotic membrane bound ribosomes. Uh, Cell organelle, eukaryotic membrane bound ribosomes, not membrane bound. Cell organelles, eukaryotic organisms have cell organelles. And there are two types of cell organelles, membrane bound and without membrane. Ribosomes not membrane bound, not considered organelle. Nucleus, largest organelle is nucleus rich in RNA and disappear during cell divisions. Nucleus have big pore in membrane as it helps in transfer of molecules. And mitochondria helps in energy production. Mitochondrial DNA, self-replicating. Okay, outer membrane, inner membrane, many pores, semi-permeable, crusty, increases surface area, and IMM like intramitochondrial membrane matrix have many transport mechanisms like symports. IMM is semi-permeable because of phospholipids, cardiolipid, 4 fatty acids, OMM, lipid metabolism, nucleotide metabolism, space IMM matrix, PDH, ETC matrix, TCA enzymes, lysozymes, digestive As organelles, micromolecular breakdown by hydrolase, optimal pH less than lysosomes. Okay, lysosomes, digestive organelles, macromolecules break down by hydrolase enzymes, optimal pH less than 5. And there is lysosomal storage disease, MPS, mucopolysaccharidosis, eye cell disease, Pompe's disease, and type 2 GST, cytonosis as containing amino acids, and sphingolipidosis, Wolman's disease. Liposomal storage disease, these are very important things.